This is the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with your host, Vicki Davis.
Today we're talking with Zak Adams. He is a junior at Harvard University. Zak, you work with a program called Project Access. So what kind of program is it and why is it your heart to be involved?
Project Access is an international UK-registered charity that operates in numerous countries across the world, essentially providing students from high potential, low opportunity backgrounds the chance to apply to the universities of their dreams. As we all know, university admissions is a lot of luck and it's a very confusing process. And it's one where you often want someone holding your hand and guiding you through it. And so Project Access makes sure that those people who may not have access to the support systems and the networks to navigate this process have access to a mentor that can fill in that gap. So for me, from a very simple background that ticked all the boxes when you applied for the sort of disadvantaged programs in the UK. Single parent household, low income, went to a school that you didn't have to pay to go to in an area of low progression to higher education. Statistically and stereotypically, I shouldn't be at university, let alone go into a different country to go to Harvard. But there should be no reason why I couldn't or why anyone else could not go to Harvard, which drew my attention to working in spaces that enable students from backgrounds like mine facing challenges that I had faced to access those opportunities and see that they belong in these positions.
Zak, did you have a mentor? I know you're passionate about math and love it, but did you have a mentor that encouraged you?
I have a few mentors. The most standard one is my mum. She was a massive support. And she probably won't mind me saying that she had no clue about the US system and how to apply, but she always stuck by me through it. Mrs. Wilkinson was my history teacher. I used to sit in the back of her classroom and I would tell her, I want to apply to Harvard. And I was the first person in my school to want to apply to the US for undergrad. She had no clue, but she used to sit with me and check in and try and learn the system and teach me things at the same time I was teaching her. And for me, that was my first real mentor. I was learning at the same time as a teacher, and it was this beautiful experience of we have no clue how we're getting from A to B, but we're going to make sure it happens. I go back to my school now during the university holidays. I work for her now pretty much during my holidays, helping students apply to universities in the UK and the US. But she was my first mentor. The first time I saw a teacher openly go, I don't know how this works, but we're going to make sure we do know how it works when the applications do. It worked out.
So as you work for Project Access, and I don't expect you to say any names, but can you think of a time when you mentored someone and you were like, their life just changed?
There's one girl this year, I won't say her name, but we'll go with Betty. She's changed my life too. I've mentored a lot of students from those low income backgrounds with very little resources, but she came to me and she shared her story, and it was living in a refuge home for parents that had been in domestic violent relationships. And she'd been in those houses where she'd moved from place to place, meeting new kids and new adults with little resources and just trying to find her way. And I was mentoring her like I mentored anyone else. And then she gave me this Common App essay that just revealed this entire thing. It took me so long to find a way to give her feedback on that draft because I was just so taken aback. And it completely changed my life, reading her essay and seeing the impact and the ability we have to show people the world around them that they haven't been able to access. And I remember she just got into NYU on their Abu Dhabi campus on full financial aid, and she's set there. But she messaged me and I was eating food. I just got this really formal email that just started with, "You have changed my life." It's such an amazing experience because I go to a campus that's so privileged and has so much power and potential in it that sometimes you take it for granted. And when I leave that campus and I see these stories of someone coming from a place where they didn't really know what was possible and being open to this world of new ideas and opportunities and taking full advantage of that it's such an eye-opening and rewarding experience. And Betty has probably taught me more and inspired me more than I've taught and inspired her. But those opportunities are something that mean the world.
So Zak, as you think about the teachers that are listening to the show, and I promise you, most of my teachers are thinking, oh, this student needs a mentor or that student needs a mentor. Do you know anything about how students get to apply and get accepted into Project Access?
We have a website online that allows you to fill out a very quick form, supply your details, and we check, are you from that area that faces these challenges? Just like a very standard one. Do you live in an area where not many people apply to university? Do you live in an area of low income? We sort of check off those metrics. There's deadlines typically in September time. And then we pair you with a mentor. If your target university is Harvard or Oxford, we get you a mentor from Harvard or Oxford. The network advantage is a huge, huge advantage in college admissions. So we just make sure those resources are in place to help make sure you don't fall behind through no faults of your own.
It's just so powerful. And you said that Betty, for example, changed your life. Somebody has a college student and they're like, this college student I know may be from a background where the odds were against him or her. How do they get involved in Project Access?
We run a lot of outreach programs in our target universities. So right now we operate in the Ivy League, also in Stanford, MIT, UCLA. So we recruit a lot of mentors from them. A lot of it's from word of mouth. One thing is quite nice is that our mentor recruitment is quite organic in the sense that something I pushed a lot for was putting names to faces. I think I don't want to be a celebrity, but I do like to share my story because I don't want to put myself at the front for everyone to look at me like some idol of sorts. But I want people to realize that with this background and with this resources, you are by no means limited in the opportunities you can progress to. So we do a lot of putting names to faces. Here is Anna, who came from this background where university wasn't realistic, and now they've just graduated from Stanford. Those kind of stories are so powerful and show that opportunities are endless and limitless to those who have the opportunity to attempt to achieve that. And so a lot of our mentor recruitment can be done through signing up on the Project Access website. But we're in a very fortunate place where just by sharing those stories and celebrating those successes and those triumphs, we managed to get those mentors who share similar values in wanting to volunteer and make sure that education is a place that acts on a level playing field.
So Zak, travel back in time. Zak, as the end of your junior year, beginning of your senior year, and you're struggling and you're trying to figure out what to do. And if it's even worth it, I'm sure you had other options that I'm sure where you are now. What would you say to Zak, the high schooler struggling to make it through, persisting with this?
These dreams seem crazy. These dreams seem unrealistic, but that's completely normal. These dreams may seem unrealistic, but I think every opportunity we have, there's an element of it being unrealistic. And the sooner you realize everything you apply for can go wrong, the sooner I found comfort in that fear of maybe I don't get it. And I think it's okay to not get an opportunity because you learn so much more about yourself. There's a lot of projects that I do now that I'd love to share with younger me where I don't measure success on how many students get into the US. I measure success on how many students now have the information from the UK to decide whether they want to apply to the US. And it's those sort of decisions and that ability to access the information and support that is so powerful. So if I was in front of younger me, I'd just let them know it's going to be okay. And sometimes that unrealistic dream is the most realistic option.
I love that. The most unrealistic dream is the most realistic option. And one thing I tell my students as they're looking at colleges is that, hey, if you're not applying, the answer is already no. The only way you have the possibility of a yes is to apply. So why not go for the dream? When I chose my college, I applied to quite a few different ones. I wanted to have the opportunity. They could say no to me, but then that gave me a multitude of places that were possibilities for yeses, and I could figure out what was a good fit for me. Zak, thank you for coming on the show. And could you give us the URL and other information, both for students and for potential college mentors?
Of course, yeah. So we should just be at projectaccess.com as our website. We're also on LinkedIn. So if you type in Project Access, you'll probably see a little gold key with some little colors popping off it as our logo. You can feel free to connect and follow us through that. I have a lot of people who message me on LinkedIn and ask for mentoring for free, which I'm always happy to do, and also for referrals on how to get involved with Project Access. I'm also more than happy to take those questions and give you an answer.
Well, Zak, thanks for coming on the show. I hope that as we're recording this, you enjoy the rest of your break and that next semester goes well for you. Thank you for taking the time to remember, where you came from. We all have our story. Stories aren't things that we're to be ashamed of. They're things that shape us and make us who we are and make us a better contributor to the world. But we do have to often overcome things. For me, I was a young woman going to an engineering school, went to Georgia Tech. And back in the 80s, women from South Georgia didn't go to Georgia Tech. They didn't do technology. And why was I interested in computers? And so there was a lot to overcome with people saying, well, women don't do that. Women don't go to technology. You have to look at the people who had a guidance counselor who believed in me. You had a mentor who believed in you. And as educators, we need to believe in kids until they can eventually believe in themselves. So thanks for coming on the show today, Zak. Thanks for tuning in to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. Watch the video version of this podcast and catch my new radio and TV show, Cool Cat Teacher Talk, on YouTube and a radio or TV station near you. Join my Cool Cat Teacher Classroom Matters newsletter at coolcatteacher.com/newsletter. Leave a review if you found this helpful. See you later, educator.